Okay, let's talk about the importance of making sure that your house is priced properly, right? I can't stress it enough how important this is. And there's so many statistics out there that say if the property's not priced properly, then it will fail to sell. And who do who do the sellers always blame? It's the real estate agent. No, the real estate agent couldn't get the job done. It's like, no, that's not true. As long as they did the primary things of making sure you got good quality pictures, making sure you got a great description, making sure all the details in the MLS are filled out so that it gets distributed to everywhere. If it was priced correctly, then you should have offers and you should sell. We always say in this space, it doesn't matter what you think the house is worth. It doesn't matter what your neighbor thinks the house is worth. It doesn't matter what, your relative 8 states away thinks it's worth, what Zillow thinks it's worth, or Redfin, or what, your real estate agent thinks it's worth. Doesn't even matter what an appraiser thinks it's worth, because the only person that it matters to is the buyer. The buyer is the one who decides the value of the property and whether or not they'll compete for the property as well. Okay, so a couple of things to take into consideration is, number one, you got to understand the buyer pool. Okay, so let me see if I can draw these out real quick here, just kind of help you get a little understanding. So we have to take a look at the buyer pool. Okay, so the buyer pool looks something like this. This line here is what they call the median. So it's basically the middle mark between whatever criteria it is that you're using. So, for example, I might go into the multiple listing service and I might say Orange County, single family residence, 4 bedrooms or more, 2,000 or more square feet, right? Something like that. And I'm going to get a result. And somewhere out of that list of, let's call it 50 properties, whatever property number 25 is, that's going to be the median. A lot of people confuse it with medium. It's not medium, it's median. But it's going to be right smack in the middle. Whatever that is, that's the median price range. And that's the number that a lot of people use when they are doing analysis and statistics and things like that. They just find out what's in the middle. Now, when we have really low inventory, like we do, at least at the time of this recording, if I go into certain areas and I pick a city and I put the criteria in, I might get 4 properties. I mean, it's that bad. That's not enough of a sampling of the marketplace to really get a good understanding of it. In that case, you might have to do an average. Whatever. I don't want to get into math debates, but let's just say, okay, we're looking at the median. So now this is what we're calling the buyer pool, okay? And the buyer pool. And I want you to notice something. So this is the median range here. The higher we get, the fewer buyers there are. So let's just call this, these are different price ranges. So in my area, I think the median is 1.8. Okay, but again, let's just call it a million even, just again for simple numbers. Okay, so let's say the higher we get, we go 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, and 1.8. Right? Let's just say that. You'll see in the 1.8 range, the number of buyers is way less. Okay, same thing. Median 1.6, 1.2. Right now you get down here and you go, okay, well, this is, we'll call it 800 or 600 or 400. 600s and 400s don't exist in Orange County, but let's just say, just again for the sake of number, the lower the numbers are, the bigger the buyer pool. Okay, so if you understand that, when you go, okay, I need a pricing strategy that's going to appeal towards the size of the buyer pool. Okay, so how do we decide how to price? Okay, so let's look at the pricing strategy here. So so let's say we're in a marketplace right now where prices are slowly going up, right? Let's just say that that's happening. And you go, well, I want to get the highest price possible. And let's say today, this is where the comparable prices are. We look at our price and we go, okay, based on everything, we looked at all the different websites, we looked at other properties that have sold that are similar to ours in similar condition, then this is what our price should be worth. But you know what? I want a little bit more. If you've got time to wait, in theory, you can price your property here and it will catch up. Now, this is better in a more steeply increasing marketplace, because when it's slowly increasing, what ends up happening is if you put your property up here when the prices are actually still down here, and let's call this 30 days. Well, by the end of 30 days, then your property is what they call shop worn, or it's stale, or a variety of other terms that are used that says, hey, yeah, there must be something wrong with that house if it didn't sell when they initially listed it. It's been on the market for a little while now. But it's okay if you don't mind waiting, because at some point in time, assuming things don't change, the price is actually going to get to up here. Well, guess what? Now your house is a better deal. But what a lot of people do is they make a mistake and they do a thing called chasing the market. So let's say that their house is worth this down here, and then maybe it doesn't sell right away for some reason. So what do? They go, oh, well, gosh, now that we're looking at it, it's worth more. And so then they increase the price. Well, guess what? They just increase it to what it is now. And in theory, yes, it should sell for more later because the prices are continuing to increase. But there's the variable of, again, how long has it been on the market that creates a stigma against the property. So in this particular scenario, if this is the price that it needs to be at, okay, that's where it needs to start. A lot of times what I'll do is I will suggest that we actually start down a little bit below that. And I'll tell you why. We go back to Marketing 101, frenzy, scarcity, unique selling proposition, all that stuff, right? If we price it a little bit below, there's, the question that I have for you is, do you want to have your house sold fast and get the best price, or do you want to get the best price but have it take longer? Well, if you want the best price and do it fast, this is what you do. Because remember, you're now the best deal in town for that type of property. So you get the attention of all these other people. Well, in a market where inventory is low, buyers are losing out on property after property after property. So they see a property that's the best deal, and then they show up and they go, we'll take it. We'll take it. Well, guess what? Now you got, if the market is such that it warrants multiple offers, now you start to get better offers competing against each other. We've had transactions, literally 60 plus offers in one day on a property because we use a strategy like this. Well, guess what? It ends up happening. Again, if this is the area where it needs to sell, but we started down here, we always end up selling it somewhere over here, okay? Because we create that competitive environment as opposed to just slap it in the MLS, have it look like every other property that's out there, and oh well, okay? Now, does that strategy work if we are in a flat or declining market? Well, I guess the answer is no, but sort of. If we're in a flat market, I would still recommend you always list it a little bit below whatever that price is to get the attention of everybody to take away. Think about it. Car dealers do this all the time, and grocery stores and appliance places. You go, gosh, I want to get this appliance, and over at the other place they'll go, hey, we're doing it for $50 less, and you're like, man, that's $50. I'm going to go to the other place. Right? You're going to make the effort to find what you want for a lower price. Well, it's the same thing in this particular case. What if the market is declining? Okay, this is where people make a huge mistake, is that they will list a property for sale because this is whatever the price is today. But guess what? Tomorrow, and I mean actually tomorrow, the price is now here. And then the next day after that, it's here. And the next day, it's here and here and here and here. So now they wait. and then the price gets to here. It drops, all the way down. So what do? They go, okay, lower the price to match this. Well, that's a mistake, because guess what? Tomorrow, this is the price, and the next day, and the next day, and next day, next day, next day. And then it gets to here, and then they chase it down. They keep chasing the market down. Instead, what you do is, instead of pricing it at the price today, again, put it ahead of the market, price it here, so that it still looks like the best deal in town. This is a simple pricing strategy. And if there's demand, people say to me all the time, they go, well, what? I'm afraid if I put it too low and somebody buys it for that price, then I'm losing equity. I'm losing money. I was like, no, you're not. Because if your property is priced lower than what you think it might be, and if you only get one offer for that property, and if it's at that price, or and I've seen it where it's at lower, somebody goes, okay, it's worth looking at, but I'm going to give it a lower price. Guess what the value of the property is? It's what that offer is. That's it. There is no magic pill. There's no magic button that you push that says, oh, your property is suddenly worth more, for whatever reason. You want to price it ahead of the market, whatever that is, to get the biggest effect. Now, again, if you price it a little bit lower, and we're talking not a lot, but just a little bit, enough that's a little bit different, makes a difference in the marketplace, and you're going to get their attention, and then they're going to say, oh, that's interesting. That's worth taking a look at. And now potentially have a competing situation. So anyway, if you want to talk about this further, happy to chat with you about it. Just reach out to me. Love to talk to you and get you pointed in the right direction. And if you want to find the right real estate agent to list your property, we know pretty much most of them. And we're talking all over the place. So don't hesitate to call and talk. And thank you for listening through this entire course. And don't hesitate to call me. Glad you're here. Glad you invested the time. I think that you'll find that you got your money's worth. That's for sure. Would love to hear any feedback that you happen to have. So, all right, we'll talk to you soon. Schedule a call. Let's talk.